pitches that she can throw, and this is a great opportunity for her as a freshman to go up against this tough offense.
And the first pitch from Langdon is in there for a strike to Sierra Briggs. It's a very left-handed lineup, a lot of vets, a lot of super seniors, and you see Allie Newland, who's had a very good series here so far against Kentucky.
Yeah, 4 for 9, some good ribbies.
Sierra Briggs moved into the leadoff spot last weekend after the senior third baseman Danica Coffey was lost for the year with an ACL. Coffey's going to get a red shirt, so she'll be back next year, but a big blow to the Tigers is that one who slapped foul 1-2, and that may have got a piece of Carissa Hamilton as she's shaken up behind home plate. See the numbers on Briggs.
Well, not to mention the temperature drop in Kentucky, a cool 41 degrees with a ricochet from a slapper on the thigh. That's why I chose to stay in the circle and not make my way.
You can see the heavy winds going out to center field today, too. Should be a factor at some point, you would think. 14 miles per hour, so we could see some long balls today. One ball and 2 strikes to Sierra Briggs, the LSU leadoff hitter. And Langdon rocks and fires and catches the outside corner. Called strike 3, so good start for the freshman. Here's the defense behind Langdon. We talked about Koffel at short. Lorsung, Tobias, and Borzarelli also on the infield. Smith, Sullivan, Peyton Plotz getting the start in right field, and Hamilton is catching Langdon. But again, defense has been a real Achilles heel in the first 2 games of the series so far for the Cats, as the first pitch to Newland misses low.
Well, and heading into this SEC series, Kentucky had only 13 errors on the season. They were playing great defense, and this weekend, obviously, a little bit of some hiccups. It's part of the game. It happens. To me, it's really about that response heading into Sunday and trying to ruin someone's day. You look at LSU and the show they've been able to put on since the season kicked off, 21-0. Kentucky wants to be one of the first ones to break up the perfect season.
This one hit well the other way, and that's going to drop down for a hit for Newland. So the first hit of the day for LSU belongs to the Tigers left fielder, and that is her 5th hit on the weekend.
Well, and it's just this pitch elevated up a little bit, pulls off it, but finds some green right in front of Riley Smith and left.
Another left-hander in Taylor Pleasance, who we talked about. You mentioned her 6-foot frame. She's a native of Houston. 1 for 3 on Friday, went 0 for 4 yesterday. But the biggest thing about Pleasance, Danielle, is it's great to see her healthy again. She's really battled some injuries, especially most of last year.
And that was something I talked to Coach Beth Tureen about last year when we had coaches' calls, and she said Taylor Pleasance pretty much gave up the red shirt and sacrificing that potential being an All-American again to play a little bit hurt and to deal with the wear and tear of what that was going to be, because she knew the importance of playing that shortstop position for her teammates, and she did what she could. It was something to do with kind of her oblique, so that big long swing was going to be a little bit harder, so she went to her short game, slapped it, changed up her game plan. That to me is selfless across the board.
3-0 pitch in there for a strike to Pleasance as LSU tries to get on the board first here in the first inning. Yesterday marked their 9th game of the season with 10 or more hits. Already 1 here so far as Newland's at first base. 3-1 from Langdon. That misses outside, and now 2 on for the cleanup hitter, Gutierrez.
First baseman number 55, Raylene Gutierrez.
Raylene Gutierrez, one of the top utility players in the SEC. 1 for 3 with a run batted in on Friday, 1 for 3 with a run batted in last night. So having a good series so far. And she'll take upstairs.
And I don't know if this is just me, Clay, but as a pitcher, when you throw heavy velo, especially Langdon, when it's 41 degrees, I want to try to throw 70 on your hands. She can get it up to 70 in the bullpen, can cruise anywhere around 66 to 68 miles an hour. Sometimes that's the competitive advantage for a pitcher. When it is really cold, it's like, I want to make your hands sting and make you regret getting in the box, kind of make you feel a little bit uncomfortable with this chilly weather.
And so many veteran hitters in this lineup. So many Tigers that know how to take good at bats. That one's peeled back foul off the bat of Gutierrez, so 1-2. Gutierrez leading the team in base hits with 24 after getting another knock last night. But you look up and down this lineup, Danielle, and just so many accomplished vets. 1-2 pitch. And going down looking is Gutierrez. That froze her. So a couple of strikeouts in the inning for Sydney Langdon.
Well, and a couple backwards Ks to boot. And I think this really goes to show she's getting in these LSU's hitters' heads, whether or not they're thinking it's something completely different or they're fooled by the spin or the speed. Backwards Ks to me are a statement piece for a pitcher. It means your stuff is moving.
So now 1 pitch away from getting out of this mess here in the first inning. Mackenzie Rudity at the plate, the junior out of Franklin, North Carolina. 4 for 6 in the series. The double and 3 singles. There's a strike to Rudity, a ball and a strike. Rudity had a terrific 2023 campaign, hit .306, was named to the SEC All-Defensive Team. Trying to deliver a big hit here in the first. That's off the plate, 2-1. Newland at second, Pleasance at first. LSU going for the sweep today of Kentucky. 2-1 pitch. 3-1. They're making it work.
That velo that we keep seeing pop up, I think is off. She's not throwing 58 miles an hour. She throws mid-60s, cruises around 65 to 68.
that velo actually might be representative of the wind. It's more likely to be the wind than her pitching. It is a breezy day in Lexington. I'm sure you had to pitch on many a days like this during your youth and during your college days up in the Pacific Northwest.
Easier back then than it would be now.
Why
I'll tell you that. I just find that I get a whole lot colder than I used to back in the day. And when you're 18, 19, 20, you're like, let's go, I'm
You're
fine.
softer now is what it is, huh?
Yes, I think I am, yes.
7th pitch of the at-bat to Rudity. 3-2, ground ball. Left side, and got it in time. Koffel over to Borzilleri to get Kentucky off the field. LSU strands 2. Kentucky coming up for the first time. An inning and a third, almost perfect relief too. Just 1 walk allowed last night.
Yeah, she threw really well. Has a good mix of pitches. Throws that heavy velo, can go with that curve, that drop, mixes up in the zone as well.
This is a very good Kentucky batting order that she'll have to face, albeit very young today with 3 freshmen in the order. And of course, Langdon is starting in the circle, so 4 freshmen heavily involved today for Kentucky trying to salvage a game in this series. Here's a look at the lineup for Rachel Lawson's bunch. There you see Peyton Plotz in the cleanup spot, just her 2nd start of the year. Trying to shake some things up for Kentucky.
Sometimes I think it's good to put those freshmen in these types of positions, right? You don't know what you don't know, and if you don't gain that experience, it's hard to go into that following year knowing kind of what an opening weekend of SEC feels like. You want to kind of have those game day emotions, let them go through it.
Meanwhile, you've got a veteran like Koffel in the leadoff spot. She's got that power that she brings from the leadoff spot. Talked about her 7 home runs on the year, the all-time home run leader in Kentucky history. Great eye at the plate. There's 13 walks on the campaign. This one is swung on. Short center field. Again, it's very windy, but Briggs does a nice job to hang in there and make the catch for the first out. Here's the defense behind Chafin. McKee, Pleasance, Daniel, and Gutierrez from third to first. Allie Newland's in left. Briggs and Rudity in right field. And Bajaraw is catching Raylan Chafin. That's up and in. First pitch to Allie Hutchins, who's had a terrific series. 1 for 3 on Friday, 2 for 4 with a home run yesterday. This is a very mature rookie, Danielle.
Yeah, Coach Lawson said she plays like she's well into her 30s, says she's a genius. Just her ability to be able to break things down and comprehend what is coming at her, I think is a gift, because sometimes you get these freshmen that are just wide-eyed, like, man, what's going on? But when you're able to get them into a program and they're able to play right away, they're smart hitters, coachable.
She works ahead in the count here, 3 balls and no strikes. They've called her Clutch Hutch here in her rookie campaign for several key hits over the first month. She'll try to get the first one here of the day for Kentucky. Kentucky held to just 5 hits in last night's ballgame. As Chafin buries a strike. They had 7 in the game on Friday. But offense has not been easy to come by here for Kentucky the first 2 days. Raylan Chafin rocks, fires the 3-1. On the outside corner, full count.
And kind of what separates Raylan Chafin a little bit from the other pitchers that are on staff, and they have a bunch of them with sub-2 ERAs, she really mixes well on the outside part of the plate. She has that drop ball, but to her, it's that curveball that she can spin, that little bit of an off-speed curve away. It's a good pitch.
Where was that? Yeah, just off the plate as Hutchins draws a walk to represent the first base runner for Kentucky today.
I feel like I can say this because Smokey Ed's behind the dish used to call games that I played in, so it's okay to say it. He's always had a tight zone, and he never goes away from that. And it's not one way for this pitcher and that for another. It's a little bit tighter across the board all the time.
Swung on, first pitch. Riley Smith sends it deep into the corner, reaching up. Newland on the track, makes the catch, and quickly gets it back in as Hutchins scampers back to first. That was poked, but it was caught by Newland going back.
Yeah, that's a really good play by Allie Newland in left. Riley Smith goes with this pitch, has a lot of hang time with that wind too. It is a little bit harder for those outfielders to be able to read the ball when it gets up in the air. She does a great job. It's a good stroke by Smith as well.
Yeah, nothing's going to be routine in the outfield today. As Peyton Plotz digs in, another rookie for Kentucky, native of Lexington, product of Tate's Creek High School down the street. Second career start. She was 1 for 2 on Friday after coming in as a pinch hitter. They went 0 for 2 last night after doing the same thing.
When if you're Raylan Chafin as a junior, you know that you're going over the scouting report. You know that there's some new faces in the lineup. They are freshmen. Those are the ones you just want to go straight attack mode and make them do things like that.
So good about this club, and she said, yes, it does remind me a little bit of 2015 when we started 25-0 and of course ended up in Oklahoma City.
Well, back in the Allie Wall-Jasper days. I mean, it was a fun team to watch. Every single year I feel like there's a different type of swagger that comes out with LSU, and they lost a heartbreaker last year at home to Louisiana, and Louisiana went on to play Washington for the Super Regionals, where they ended up getting shut out, and Washington went to OKC. But LSU is a team that Coach Beth Torina said they're not living in the past, and that loss and losses are not what is fueling this squad. But they're a hungry team, and to me, when I look at LSU across the board, this is a team that can go and do some damage and try to make their 5th appearance in OKC, because they have the knowledge, they have the experience. Coach Torina says someday she'll just sit at practice with her coffee and let them run practice. They're an experienced team.
And Macy Bajorov, the catcher, starts the Tigers out with a leadoff single here in the second.
Now batting for LSU, playing third base, number 2, Maddox McKee.
So that is the second hit for LSU. Maddox McKee now will come up. McKee has had a good series, 2 for 3 with a run batted in on Friday. And she was 1 for 3 in yesterday's ballgame. 263, no homers and an RBI. One of 6 true freshmen on the roster for Beth Torina. And so far having a pretty impressive SEC debut. The 0-1 pitch from Langdon, showing bunt. Ball and a strike.
And I don't think you can say enough about Maddox McKee being able to come in and replace Danica Coffey so smoothly, right? Danica goes down, has to redshirt, puts this freshman in at third, and she's able to go and be clutch. And I think, to me, that shows over the course of the fall and the winter, and getting to play with some of those older players, you're learning a lot rather quickly when you can be around those that have been there, done that, puts them in a good position to start out.
1-2 lofted to deep left field. Wind again blowing out. Hauled in by Delaney Sullivan there on the warning track in center. And Bajorov will lope back to first base, first out here of the second inning. There's Danica Coffey, who you were talking about, Danielle, and she was hitting .404 with 11 runs batted in and riding a 10-game hitting streak when she was lost for the year.
Yeah, one of the best players to ever put on a Tiger uniform. I know their whole team was crushed when it happened, but like when I heard the news, I was crushed, because you just think about how much she brings. Obviously, she still gets to travel with the team, her experience that she can pass on, but it's different when you can cross those lines and you're out there with your sisters getting after it. So hope for a speedy recovery. She can get back and help her team out next year, but right now it's going to be having to be a solid cheerleader for the squad.
One of the heart and soul players for this LSU team is Kelly Lynch. The designated player is up there now. Lynch is an interesting story, a Noonan, Georgia native. A transfer from Washington, picked up out of the transfer portal. Helped the Huskies get to Oklahoma City last year, two-way player. It's fouled back.
And you don't see as many two-way players anymore. Like, to me, Amanda Scarborough, I'm assuming she's watching, she'll say that they're like unicorns. The commitment to being great at offense and pitching, it really is a challenge, and you just don't see it as much. I miss that piece of the game.
And she's been a factor in this series so far as a hitter. And, of course, in the circle yesterday, went 1 for 4 at the plate on Friday and then pitched 5 2/3 yesterday as the starter. Ended up getting a no decision, but certainly put him in a place to win. This one fouled down the line, and it's going to get out of play.
She's still rocking some form of purple and gold.
Yeah, she didn't have to change her wardrobe much.
Yeah.
Hit 276, 3 homers, 20 runs batted in last year for the Huskies. and went 9-3 for Washington as a pitcher. A full count worked here by Lynch against Sidney Langdon. Langdon got out of the first inning after giving up a base hit and a walk. 3-2, took something off of it, skied to center again, the wind carrying it to the warning track, and Sullivan there to make another catch. He got it started from Lexington. And it's great to have the SEC back. So many good teams again in this league this year. 12 of the 13 programs ranked in the top 25. Two outs for Sierra Daniel. Two 2-0 pitch to the Tigers' second baseman, chopped, and that's going to get Kentucky out of the inning. So Bergeron leads off the inning with a single, but Langdon works.
Chafin having to come into a game last night to close it out and then get the ball today. It's impressive to see just kind of numbers from year to year continue to get better for these pitchers, and it's one thing that I admire about Betterina. I think she takes her job so personal in the sense of like growing these pitchers and how great can I make them. And I mean, you even look at this. Like, yeah, Chafin last season.
She's improved her strikeout numbers.
She has in only 9 appearances, 36 strikeouts. Last year, 33 Ks over 16 appearances. So she's gained that confidence from last year to this year. And a lot of that is that off-season grind. And I did actually talk to Coach Betterina about that. And she said there's a bigger commitment to the arm care. And they're doing a lot of that high-level throwing with Austin Wasserman and strengthening the arms and putting them in a position to go the length of a season.
And she walks Grace Lorson to start the second inning. Second walk allowed. She walked Hutchins in the first, but otherwise had no problems in the first inning. Now Delaney Sullivan will come up for Kentucky. Actually, the win by Chafin in relief last night gave her a career high for wins. She'd won 6 games each of the last 2 years.
Kentucky entering the pinch run at first,
Got a pinch runner here for Kentucky. Ellie Mitchell running at first base for Lorson. So this is freshman Delaney Sullivan at the plate. This is going to be her first at-bat of the series. She came in as a defensive replacement last night in center field. Wears number 8, just like her sister Kennedy wore for the Cats the last 3 seasons. Excited to make her first career start. There's a strike. Sullivan's already had to make a couple of catches on the warning track in center field. Again, anything hit in the air is going to be a challenge today, whether it be on the infield or the outfield, with that heavy wind going straight out. Chopped, foul.
And for Delaney Sullivan coming in, especially with that leadoff base on balls, you want to make it your job to try to advance that runner, put that runner in scoring position somehow. I mean, she's battling. It's her first career start. I'm sure the butterflies are there, their nerves are there, but
just off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
and this is a good opportunity for Coach Lawson to put these freshmen in these types of positions. Let's go out and let's see what you're made of. The work we've done in the fall, winter, these are the times where you see it potentially show up.
Didn't mean to. Ground ball to short. Pleasance will flip across, and Sullivan is out. Over to second base is Lorsung on the play, but that was kind of an excuse-me swing by Sullivan.
Well, and the high heater up in the zone doesn't mean to, but still puts, Kentucky in a possible position here to score that first run of the game. Mitchell pinch running at second base.
I said Lorsung, I meant Mitchell, of course. Carissa Hamilton now, who's been the primary starter behind the plate for Kentucky, homered a couple of times this year. So far 0 for 4 in the series. Fouled straight back.
When I was looking through all the 6-4-3 stats, I mean, the amount of data that people have on hitters and pitchers these days, I was checking out her weighted heat map. So it's just kind of showing where she's hot, where she's not. On that outer half, it's that good shade of red, solid eye. But majority of her hits tend to come on that outer half, which going up against a matchup potentially with Chafin, who can spin that curveball, a little bit of an off speed on the outer half, might potentially play into her wheelhouse.
You see, Kentucky has really struggled in the series with runners in scoring position. 3 for 22 over the first 2 games. The 0-2 pitch, hit in the air, short center, charging as Briggs makes a running catch for the second out. And now Kentucky's going to send a pinch hitter to the plate. This is Taylor Ebbs, junior from Oregon. Did not play on Friday. Went 1 for 3 with the start in right field last night. This is Lauren Borzoleri's spot in the lineup.
Entering the lineup tonight for Kentucky, number 3, Taylor Ebbs.
Ebbs has got some power. 4 home runs on the year. She was the Gatorade Player of the Year a couple of years ago in the state of Oregon. And Rachel Lawson is hoping she can cut loose here and give Kentucky an early lead in this ballgame. Two balls and no strikes to Ebbs. Swung out and missed. 2-1. Kentucky started the season, Danielle, unranked for the first time since 2009. They've had some good wins here in the early part of the year and back in the top 25, but trying to avoid being swept here by LSU at home on opening weekend. And that one is hit sharply to second, gobbles up Danielle. And safe at third, diving back is Mitchell. Hard hit ball by Ebbs. Sierra Daniel couldn't make the play, and runners at the corners, actually second and third with 2 outs.
Yeah, this was a hot shot off the bat of Taylor Ebbs, and that one little hop kind of fooled Sierra Daniel, but I like that she goes and makes that throw right away to third, not wanting that run to score. Solid piece of hitting, but you potentially even saw McKee kind of go to her ears there with the potential challenge to see if the tag was applied before the hand went on the base, and they are going to challenge if that runner was safe at third.
That's the call. Safe.
Call at third, upheld, and sometimes those coaches will put the trust in the players, right? Like you saw Maddox, McKee going to her ears thinking, hey, I was able to apply that tag. They trusted that. It didn't work in their favor.
Now this is Tobias to hit. Kentucky with a great chance here to get on the board Tobias, a slap hitter from Urbandale, Iowa. He's 2 for 2 on Friday, 0 for 3 last night. Product of Dowling Catholic High School in Des Moines. He's on the same basketball team with Caitlin Clark, who might be the most famous athlete in the world right now. That time is called.
Wonder if she'd get me an autograph. You think? Maybe.
And here comes the conversation in the circle as Raylan Chafin has struggled a little bit in the second inning with control.
Well, and especially when you fall behind, you got runners on second and third, you fall behind 2-0, I think to be able to go out and just have that quick conversation, let her know where you're going with it, the bottom of the lineup, and sometimes those 9 hitters tend to be the scrappiest. They can turn the lineup over so quick.
So Beth Torina has had her say. She'll head back to the dugout. 2-0 the count on Margaret Tobias. This is the first full weekend at home for Kentucky. They started the year by playing 20 straight on the road, including 4 tournaments. They've been all over North America. That one is fouled off. We're in San Diego, Clearwater, Florida, Spartanburg, South Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina. So it's good to be home, but they just haven't played particularly well so far this weekend against LSU. But a chance to jump out on top here with a timely base hit in the second inning. Two-one from Chafin. That's in the dirt. Nice stop by Bergeron to keep that in front. 3-1.
Yeah, really, really good block behind the plate. And Chafin is one of the most reliable pitchers on staff. I mean, 1 earned run allowed in the last 20 innings, including today.
Popped up, and that's going to get fouled.
Not to mention, there's just so much trust in your defense behind you. When you have players like Taylor Pleasance in the shortstop position, you have 2-time Gold Glove winner Sierra Briggs in center. Those types of players behind you just give you that extra little bit of confidence, like, hey, I can roll a ground ball, or I can leave a pitch potentially up a little bit with my rise, and Sierra Briggs can go and make a heck of a grab out in the outfield. That trust makes you pitch better than you think.
3-2 to the number 9 hitter, and again, poke foul. Mitchell at third, Ebbs at second as Kentucky is threatening here in the second inning. Oh, they're going to call her out. Fitting. She is fun to watch, Danielle.
Man, just the attention to detail, I think, is one of the most impressive things about her. Coach Beth Torina, you know, besides her being back-to-back Gold Glove winners and the first in softball history. I mean, Coach Torina says when she's in the outfield and people are watching, whether athletes are taking BP or whatever, she's just so particular about how she does stuff and the reps, and it's impressive to see because it doesn't matter how old you are, you're still wanting to always be the best that you can be. It's the little things that always add up to the big things when you need them, and she is that type of player, has slid into that leadoff spot after Danica Coffey went down, and perfect for that. If Danica can't be in it, Sierra Briggs is the next in line.
Two balls and a strike to Briggs, who went down looking the first time up. She's going to slap this one to left field for a base hit. And that is the 3rd hit of the day for LSU. There's Ebbs. She's going to stay in the ballgame in right field for Kentucky. And now into the ballgame for Kentucky at first base is Harrison. Nico Harrison, a senior out of Fontana, California. First pitch from Langdon, bunted, and that's going to be foul. Allie Newland got out of the box quickly, but it's a foul ball.
it. She's trying to sacrifice herself, put Briggs 60 feet. Luckily, she's still in the box when this hits the barrel twice.
Allie Newland has had a really good start to her year. She's already been SEC Player of the Week once this season. Big swing, fouls it back. She was first team All-League last year. Hit .329 with starts in left and behind the plate. She always seems to come through in the clutch as well.
Well, last season, led SEC play for .419 batting average. Was the best on the team.
Briggs gets to second base uncontested. So now LSU with a runner in scoring position here in the third inning. Stolen base for Briggs. And another big cut by Newland.
In a good spot by Langdon. I mean, you look at the count, 1-2. She's going up in the zone. That is a good rise ball up and in on the hands. With the experience of this lineup, when you get to those 0-2, 1-2 counts, you obviously don't want to throw a waste pitch. You want to throw something kind of in and around the zone, but get them to chase.
Already a couple of strikeouts for Langdon here in the ballgame. She's had a couple of big strikeout performances this year. 10 against San Diego State. We talked about the 15 against Bellarmine earlier in the week. As that one's in the dirt, Hamilton forced to make another nice play. Look at this. Averaging 13 strikeouts per 7 innings coming into the weekend.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. Some of those names on that list to be #1 as a freshman, that's impressive.
3-2 off the end of the bat, foul. Good at bat here for Allie Newland. Senior from Georgia, hit her third career grand slam against Northwestern in Clearwater last month. Northwestern was ranked 22 at the time. Popped up. This is going to be a break for the Wildcats. The shortstop, Koffel, is there. She'll haul it in. Kentucky, the #2 seed. Everybody in Lexington fired up about the Wildcats, hoping they can make a deep run in the national tournament. One out for Taylor Pleasance. Shortstop walked her first time up. Backhanded by Hamilton. Gets away a bit, but not far enough, as Briggs has to stay put.
When we talked with Coach Lawson prior to this series kicking off, she said our one kind of at times that we're really working on question mark is the catchers behind the dish and them being secure for these pitchers.
To center. Sullivan's got it measured, makes the catch. And Pleasance is retired.
When I say that, because you lose Kayla Kowalik, right? She was one of the greatest, if not the greatest player in Kentucky history. And when you have that type of athlete who is now a grad assistant in the dugout, gets to pass that on, but just like her poise behind the plate, her speed, she was so good. It's almost kind of seems Beyonce-esque, irreplaceable.
And now Hamilton can't keep that one in front. That was not her fault, as that's in the dirt. Wild pitch, Briggs over to third.
All-time leader in average hits, triples, runs. To me, it's about that connection that she gets to have with these catchers, right, and help grow them into what Kentucky needs them to be. She can be a big piece of that.
Good steps off the rubber. Gutierrez struck out looking her first time up. Checked her swing. Did she go? She did not. 2 balls and no strikes to Raylene. Gutierrez had a big tournament in Clearwater. Speaking of that tournament, had a walk-off sac fly to beat Northwestern. Hit a go-ahead home run in the win over Oklahoma State as well. Probably the most impressive win so far this year for LSU was that win against number 4 Oklahoma State in Clearwater. They won 7-6. That one is below the knees. It's a walk to Gutierrez, so 2 on with 2 out. And Rudity will come up.
Well, and this is an LSU offense that, to me, has won multiple different ways as the season has gone on. It hasn't just been the long ball. They've won with the squeeze. They have that experience. There's not a lot that this team has not gone through. They've come from behind. I think those are all the things you need to have a successful team moving into the chunk of SEC play. And I mean, 7-0 in those one-run games, that to me is the confidence in those pitchers, right? Defensively, you know your team has your back, but pitchers being able to throw in those close ball games with confidence.
Sprayed to left, diving as Smith can't make the catch. Briggs is going to score. And LSU takes a 1-0 lead on a base hit by Mackenzie Rudity.
It's a good piece of hitting by Rudity. Smith lays it all out. I think if she gets this ball again, she gloves it up and she makes this play. Obviously, wind can be a little bit of a factor, but she's a heck of a defender out there in left.
Line drive by Rudity. And now this one gets away from Hamilton. Gutierrez to third. And Rudity to second for Macy Badgeraw, who's at the plate already with a base hit in this game.
It's those unearned runs. Coming into this game, 6 out of the 10 runs have been unearned. So this could have been Kentucky's weekend as well, where they won the first 2. It's just shoring up those little things that ended up hurting them, that a solid, strong vet team like LSU used to their advantage.
3 hits in the series for Badgeraw. That's in on the hands. Langdon dives, can't make the catch. A run is going to score for LSU as Gutierrez comes in quickly from third, and it's 2-0 Tigers. Another bad break for Kentucky in the field.
Well, and a heck of an all-out effort by Langdon. This is a solid pitch. She does everything she can, but it actually hits the kind of the handle of her mitt and not able to glove that up properly. Man, that one hurts. It's a good jam job.
So the inning continues, runners at the corners. And this is Maddox McKee, who flew out to center her first time up. So that's an RBI for Badgeraw, her 10th run batted in of the year. And she'll take it. Fly ball. Another chance here for Riley Smith. This is more of a routine play. And finally, Kentucky gets off the field.
Alone at UCF, I think it brings a different just perspective to the game when you can get coached by different coaches like that. And obviously it helps better your game in so many ways because you're surrounded by the best athletes in the country, no doubt, but you're going up against the best. And that Japan series, Japan's won back-to-back gold medals for a reason. So watching how the Japanese go about their business and seeing the shortstops and how they take their reps, I think that gives them this different insight to how to potentially better their game and put them in a position to try to make that 2028 Olympic roster.
1-1 hit to left off the bat of Koffel. And Leland is there for the catch. Now, Koffel and Pleasants played in Japan in that stadium that you played in for Team Canada back in the day.
Yeah, that was actually where the Olympic final was, which was supposed to be 2020, but ended up being 2021. A good chunk of games were played there, the gold medal game, the bronze medal game, a lot of feels, especially with no one in the stands. It was a little bit eerie how big of a stadium that was, and know that your family's watching from home, but
1-0 pitch to Allie Hutchins, who walked her first time up. And that just missed. 2 balls and no strikes as Raylan Chafin pitches here in the 3rd inning. Got a little break as Kentucky threatened in the 2nd inning, but Margaret Tobias was called out with 2 on as she swung and her front foot was out of the batter's box. You don't see that called very often, but it ended a potential Kentucky rally.
you don't see it called as often anymore because there's just been some different rule changes. I think now with that pitch clock, you've seen a lot more things with that.
This one hit well to left. Newland on her horse, and going back is Briggs to make the catch in front of the fence.
You have to have such a tight eye for that foot out of the box, right? And the umpire behind the plate to be able to obviously call balls and strikes and see everything that's going on, and to be able to call that means Smokey Ed's behind the plate's paying attention to everything. And if it's a rule and you see it, I mean, you got to call it. You got to keep them honest.
Riley Smith is 0 for 1. Flew out to left her first time up. 5th-year senior drove in one of the 2 Kentucky runs on Friday. Has a couple of hits in the series. We were talking with Rachel Lawson this week and how Riley Smith has reinvented herself this year.
A lot more just power numbers. And when I even asked Coach Lawson about it, I'm like, hey, what's the difference? What do you see? She goes, let me be honest with you. She went home for the summer and she worked on herself. She didn't tell me exactly what it was, and I didn't want to pepper it out of her. And she definitely went and added this different kind of little bit of a load to her swing, a little bit more backside heavy, but you just look at the power numbers. Like, the numbers don't lie. And I think when a head coach sees stuff like that, it's like, I don't need to dig too deep into exactly what's being done because I can't take away the success that she's having.
Good inning for Raylan Chafin. Beth, it's just been a great start to the year. What's been the secret to the success so far and a great start in 2024?
Having 8 seniors that you just roll the ball out there and let them run the show. You know, staying out of their way and letting them play softball. That's been what's fun about it. They're so veteran and just really special. So just stay out of their way.
Coach, I have to ask, a little bit of a, emotional roller coaster over the course of the last couple of days with the weather and the changes and rain delays. Just what do you say to your team to kind of keep them in that state of mind to go at day 3?
Well, it has not been for the mentally weak this weekend, let me tell you. A long night on Friday night, a cold, cold night last night, and then today we're just happy the sun is shining here in Lexington. But, I think our team has proved to be really gritty and really tough as the season's gone on. They've had so many different ways that they've won games and walk-offs and comebacks, and so they've shown to be pretty tough, and they've been in a ton of situations. So, they've shown they can literally weather the storm, and I'm proud of them and proud to be their coach.
Coach Torina, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay warm. Beth Torina, 513 wins. At LSU, we talked about her 4 College World Series appearances. It has been a tough weekend, but they've found ways to win. 6-2 on Friday, 4-3 yesterday, and they scored the go-ahead run with 2 outs in the top of the 7th last night. So it's a gritty bunch, a veteran bunch, and some good youth mixed in as well. And Beth Torina definitely has a contender in the SEC again here in 2024. Kelly Lynch to lead it off here for the Tigers as Nesby is in the game now in left field for Kentucky. Wildcats moving some players around here in the early stages of this game. Vanessa Nesby, a senior from Corona, California, came in as a defensive replacement last night as well. Lynch flew out to center, her only time up. She started in the circle last night for LSU, did a great job to put her team in a position to win. And then coming on in relief, Raylan Chafin, who is starting today, she got the victory in relief. 3 balls and no strikes as Sydney Langdon has been in trouble a couple of times in this ball game. And now she leads off the fourth with a free pass to Kelly Lynch.
Well, and you know that Schoonover was warming up in the bullpen the inning prior, and she threw Friday night only 2.2 innings pitched, gave up those 8 hits and those 5 runs, only one of them being earned, But I think when you walk the leadoff on the bottom half, Coach Lawson wanted to be smart about it, right? I think the importance of keeping this game at a 2-run lead is very important, and when you have someone like Schoonover who you can bring into this game late, might not be a bad option if things were to get any more out of hand.
Madeline Jaleo is the pinch runner for LSU. And Sierra Daniels at the plate. One of the 2 freshmen in the starting lineup because of injuries, and she places one into left center field for a base knock. Jaleo's going to stop at second. So good start for the inning by LSU, and it comes from the bottom of the order.
Yeah, I mean, Sierra Daniel does such a good job, slaps his ball so solid in that 9 spot, turns the lineup over so quickly, and now you see LSU really turning up that lineup quickly and putting it back in Briggs' hands, and going to be making that change second, kind of back up at the top of the lineup here for LSU. And sometimes those are the best worst situations to be in as pitchers, right? Like trying to deal with those emotions. Yeah, those runners on base technically aren't hers. She didn't put them on, but team game all the way. Want to get your squad out of it.
She's got a tough hitter to deal with here in Sierra Briggs, who struck out looking against Langdon back in the first, but then singled in the third and came around to score the first run of the game. Second appearance of the series for Schoonover. There's her first strike. She took the loss on Friday night. And again, remember how windy, how wet, how cold it was. Gave up 5 runs in 2 2/3 innings. Just never felt comfortable on Friday night. And now it's 3-1 to Briggs.
It's about being able to come into the game and establish the strike zone, and it's small. So that can be a whole other hiccup as a pitcher that you're trying to deal with the emotions or maybe the frustration of like, dang, that's a good pitch. I like that screwball. I want that spot. You got to try to figure out that piece.
Bunted. And the third baseman, Lorson, flips across. So Allie Newland is up.
Yeah, last at bat for Allie Newland. Battled 9 pitches. Langdon did a really good job of getting her to pop it up in the infield with runners on. Expect a completely different at bat here for her third.
Fly ball. Left fielder Nesby, fresh into the game, makes the catch, tagging, and the throw at home. In time, got her. Jaleo is out trying to score. And that's going to do it. That's the third out. Everyone's a little confused. Let's bring in Rachel Lawson, head coach of Kentucky. Coach, at times this weekend, defense has been tough for you, but that was good defense to end a otherwise good inning for LSU as they threatened again, but you cut them down at the plate.
Yeah, I thought Vanessa did a great job catching that and sending it. Of course, Hamilton did a great job holding her ground. So really good stuff there. Yeah, you're right. We got to play tough defense. I mean, the cornerstone of our program is pitching and defense. And so that's been a little rocky. We just got to tighten it up, and then we'll be in good shape.
Coach, I have to ask, just a lot of different things happening over the weekend, right? Stuff out of your control with weather and delays of games, but the message to your team going into today and just everything they've had to kind of endure over the last couple days.
Well, it's the same for both teams, right? And you're playing one of the best teams in the country, so you got to stay mentally ready to go. You don't want to be intense the whole, 4 hours you're in a delay or whatever the case is. You got to be able to ebb and flow and just be ready. But, they're young. They'll adjust. They'll be fine.
Yep.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Coach Rachel Lawson in her 17th year in Lexington, 579 wins, most in program history. and she has one of the longest tenured coaching staffs in the country. Just a great program that she has built. Miko Harrison with her first at bat of the weekend for Kentucky to lead it off here in the 4th inning. As Kentucky tries to salvage a game in this series. It's only the 2nd time this year that they've lost back-to-back games, so you know that they're hungry to get one from LSU. 1-0.
To me, everything is about the energy piece. Like, I can't say that Kentucky came out with a whole lot of energy, but you saw it with that throw from Nesby home and getting him out of it and Schoonover jumping up in the air. Like, those are the little things that sometimes a team needs to completely turn the page and just go ham on a pitcher. And it really is about the momentum that you're able to create. And this is a good opportunity here in the bottom of the 4th, after the great defense by Kentucky, to try to get something rolling, something going.
Miko Harrison, a senior from Fontana, California, 071 on the year, no homers and a run batted in. 1-2 is fouled off as Raylan Chapin continues to work here in the inning.
Yeah, her first at bat of this weekend. And to me, the numbers don't reflect how good of a hitter she really is, right? Like, poise hitter at the dish, hasn't got a whole lot of success as of early, but it's about being able to go up and control what you can control as a hitter. And that's one pitch at a time. What's my approach? What's my routine? And sticking with that and trying to be a good leadoff for your team.
Two pitch inside, full count. I think they're appealing there. Did that hit her? Or did she go around? And I don't think either one of those are applicable here. Grace Lorson, Delaney Sullivan, the scheduled hitters. And that's going to be the first out of the inning. Harrison goes down. Back-to-back strikeouts for Chafin going back to last inning.
And I really like this pitch by Raylan Chafin. Down, in on the hands. Miko Harrison tries to hold up, but just not able to.
Here's Lorson. Walked her first time up. Grace hitting .279, 5 homers and 15 runs batted in. Second on the team in homers and RBIs. Second year at Kentucky, a transfer from Indiana. Ground ball, and that's going to get under the third baseman, McKee. So Kentucky with its first hit of the day.
Lorson takes this pitch, curveball on the outer half, pulls on it, gets some good velo to the left side, right through that 5-6 hole. Good leadoff here for Kentucky.
Delaney Sullivan. Another freshman for the Wildcats. Grounded out to short her first time up. See how aggressive Kentucky might be on the bases. They have not attempted a stolen base in this series. And they're going to stay out of the double play here. That was just slow enough where Pleasance could only take the force at second. So Lorson is out, 2 down, and Sullivan's at first.
Yeah, Taylor Pleasance does a good job of quick retreat to the bag. Hey, this is the easiest out. This is a lead out. Now we got 2.
Two down for Hamilton. The Kentucky catcher takes strike 1. Earlier we saw a pitching graphic that had the name Najari Kennedy on it, the great Stanford pitcher. Hamilton homered off of her on opening weekend. And she's got great power, and she shows it here. This one's going to skip off the wall and left. Rounding and diving back to the bag. That's Sullivan. And Hamilton clapping as she's got a ringing single to left field, and it's going to turn into 2.
Yeah, Carissa Hamilton takes this screwball down and in, kind of clears her hips and opens up. Takes it right over Newland's head and left. Warning track all day. Good pop. Delaney Sullivan gets back. I thought for a second she was going to be able to go first to home, but got some good carry off the fence out there.
Ebbs uncorks to right center field, and that's going to get down for a hit. So Kentucky gets on the board with a couple of big blasts to the outfield. And we're tied at 2.
See the big smile on Taylor Ebbs' face. She didn't even start this game. She's up in the box. She turns on this pitch, takes it to right center. Bottom of the warning track. Big smiles. That is to feel good. Third double of the season.
Back-to-back doubles for the Wildcats. Now Beth Torina at 2 with back-to-back doubles by Hamilton and Ebbs. And now Donaldson will hit. Emery Donaldson called on as a pinch hitter. Another freshman for Rachel Lawson. Off-speed pitch stays high, a ball and a strike. You know, it's funny, Danielle, the defense for Kentucky, a couple of nice plays in the field at times here the last inning or so. And finally, the offense starts to pick up. We talked to Rachel Lawson about this team. You know, when Kentucky is at its best, they're playing scrappy defense, and then our offense generally just comes around when the pitching and defense is good. Now, with that said, Donaldson strikes out to end the inning, but certainly the fortunes have changed for the Wildcat.
But when you watch that base runner at third, she did not leave until Nesby was like literally just going to throw the ball and it was going to leave her hand. So I think that play could have been a little bit closer, but that may have just been the momentum that Kentucky needed to really start to ignite and get them going, and goes to show in the bottom half of the fourth. They put up 2 and force Raylan Coffin out of the...
Taylor Pleasance leads it off for LSU. 0 for 1 with a walk. Tall shortstop having a great year, as you can see by the numbers. Ranks top 10 all-time in a number of program categories. Schoonover misses high, 2 balls and a strike. Ranks number 5 in home runs with 41. Third in RBIs with 201. Schoonover came on in relief of Sydney Langdon, freshman who got the start. She thought she had a strike there, but it's 3-1.
Well, and I feel her pain. And I only say that because I pitch too, and I know it when you throw a pitch that you feel like has been gotten called for a strike and you don't get it. It's trying to just deal with the emotions of what that's like, right? You don't want to walk the lead off. That's never the case, especially someone like Taylor Pleasance. But Schoonover's still trying to figure out what she can potentially get for a strike a little bit on that bottom half.
And also, you know, as Kentucky just tied the game, that also makes it really hard to swallow when you walk the leadoff hitter the very next half inning. And Gutierrez comes up.
As a pitcher, when your team does score for you in the bottom half of an inning and you're heading out into the top half, like, you need to make that your main priority. Like, my job is to keep anyone and everyone off the base pass. My team has been fighting and clawing to get runs, and we finally did. And then you walk the lead off, and I get it. Small zone, sometimes it happens, but a lot of pitchers take that responsibility that following inning to say, hey, I got you, let's go, appreciate you scoring me runs. Now I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain.
Maya Townsend is going to be the pinch runner for LSU. One out to Gutierrez. Two runs for LSU in the third inning. Kentucky got two in the bottom of the fourth to tie it up, and that's where we stand here in Game 3 of this series, opening weekend in the SEC. Raylene Gutierrez, a little pop-up out on the outfield grass, handled by Aaron Koffel for the first time. Bring up Rudity.
When I asked Coach Lawson about Aaron Koffel, just kind of give me your, everything you got. She talked about her freshman year and how she really thought Aaron Koffel wasn't even going to be a high-level shortstop. She said we had to cater practices around what she needed to do to learn the game a little bit differently, right? She's coming in after a Katie Reed All-American, one of the best, and now you look at Aaron Koffel and you say she could potentially be one of the best to ever play that shortstop position. But when you head into a program, I feel like that's where you get really grounded and you have to learn. And Coach Lawson said they would make these practices as gruesome and as hard as they could to really get her out of her comfort zone, to learn that spot more, put her on edge. And now she is someone that continuously reinvents herself in the shortstop position, leadership role, one of the best.
Yeah, and Koffel in this series really hasn't cut loose at the plate yet. I mean, she's obviously a player who could turn this series on its ear and get a win back here for Kentucky in the final game of the series. That goes almost to the backstop. It's snared by Hamilton. Rudity 1 for 2 with an RBI single. That was back in the third inning. Five hits on the weekend for Rudity. Ground ball. Will not be two. They flip over to first. Tobias to Harrison to get Rudity. Townsend goes to second base, but there are two outs.
Batting for LSU, the catcher, number 12, Macy Bajarov.
That brings up Macy Bajarov. It's been a good day for Macy at the plate. Single in the second and an RBI base hit in the third.
When you take a peek at where she's at in the batter's box, way off that plate, knowing that Stephanie Schoonover can throw that screwball way in on the hands, just kind of baiting her a little bit as a hitter. And sometimes it's just simply because the hitter goes, man, I know you can jam me, so if I can get off the plate a little bit and you throw me that pitch in, I have full confidence that I'll be able to do something with it.
Two out to Bajarov. Inside. I don't think you'd call that a strike. Generally, if the catcher doesn't handle it cleanly, it's not called a strike, but that was the case that time.
Well, and you see Hamilton put her hand on her chest like, hey, that's my bad, I got you.
2-1 pitch.
See, that's a good pitch, Clay. I think she needs that pitch. I think pitchers deserve that pitch. Whether or not you have someone like a Bajarov who's way off, you look at where the plate is and where that ball hung up, I think that needs to be called.
Just missed. Walked her. 2 walks in the inning for Stephanie Schoonover. So first and second, 2 outs.
The third baseman, number 2, Maddox McKee.
I mean, are we talking that it's 2 down? Maybe 2 in, but yeah, the pitcher in me is always going to want that, you know. It's a little tight. It's tight.
Well, all 4 runs in this ball game have come with 2 outs. LSU trying to deliver here. Maddox McKee is at the plate. She's 0 for 2 with a couple of flyouts.
I feel like when you have someone behind the plate that tends to have a smaller strike zone, that's where you as a pitcher need to tap as much into that mental piece of your game that you can. Not allowing the emotions of the balls and strike piece play into the ultimate performance. It's trusting your stuff and knowing, hey, even though I can't get this called for a strike, maybe I can get her to swing on a pitch. Maybe I can use my defense, try to find the light in a couple different other things when you know you're used to getting those types of pitches, right? Screwball pitcher, she gets that. She's used to getting that. And when you're not, I think that's when you start to see kind of what these pitchers are made of when they're really pushed out of their comfort zone.
Swung on and missed. Count even at 2 as Schoonover is trying to get through her second inning of work after coming out in relief of Sydney Langdon. She's got a 2-on, 2-out situation she's trying to work around. Ground ball to short, should end the inning. And it does. So a couple of walks, but LSU said it before, Danielle. You know, offense has been hard to come by for Kentucky, but maybe that 4th inning greased the skids.
I'm with you. They got some stuff going. I think when you look at someone like Erin Koffel in the leadoff spot with her 3rd at-bat of the day, you want her to try to be scrappy. Yes, it's a different pitcher than what she was facing in Raylan Chafin. But it comes down to just trying to be a tough at-bat, right? And fight and respecting the fact that there's 9 outs left to toy with. I want to try to have good plans of attack when you step in the box.
Raylan Chafin started this game for LSU. Sydney Berzon, the sophomore 6-footer, has come out in relief. Got to deal with Erin Koffel to lead off the 5th inning. Koffel has been fairly quiet in the series so far. 1 for 2 with a run batted in on Friday. Was 0 for 1 yesterday, but got on with 3 walks and is 0 for 2 hitless today. That rides in and hit her. So the leadoff hitter is aboard for Kentucky. Couple of defensive changes at second and third base. Petty is now at second for LSU. And Sierra Daniel moves over to third. Allie Hutchins at the plate now for Kentucky, which since that play by Nesby in the field to end the 4th inning for LSU, everything has kind of changed in their favor. Now can they jump out in front? Hutchins 0 for 1 with a walk today. Had a big home run yesterday, even though it was a Kentucky loss. She had a good day at the plate, 2 for 4.
To me, it's just the fact that you have her hitting behind Erin Koffel as a freshman. The poise and the trust.
That's going to get down for a hit. So here comes Kentucky, Danielle. Koffel at second, Hutchins at first.
Really good scrappy at bat. This is a changeup, and listen, Hutchins is a little bit way out in front of this pitch, but to me, she's able to turn it and is a strong enough hitter to where she can just kind of pull it to left field. And Aaron Koffel with the hit by pitch, and Allie Hutchins with the base hit.
Now Nesby lays it down. It's a good bunt out in front of home plate. She's going to be thrown out. Well, they called it foul. That was a foul ball. Must have come out and got a piece of her.
Yep, goes back foul, but if you're Nesby, your primary job right now is to put those two runners in scoring position. It's that straight up ABCs of the game, sacrificing yourself, especially coming from the left side. I don't know if this is right to say, but lefties tend to be like pretty solid little bunters, especially those slappers.
She already has a sac bunt in this series.
It's what makes them such triple threats, right? They can swing it. Now she has to battle.
Two balls and no strikes to Nesby. Chop foul. Kentucky trying to get a game in this series. They have lost the first two here in SEC play. The last time they faced LSU was in 2022 in Baton Rouge. They did not face them last year. And they swept LSU in 3 close ball games. And now it's a full count. Sydney Berzon rocks and fires. Comebacker caught by Berzon. The throw to second not in time to get Koffel. But what a great play by the pitcher, Sydney Berzon, to keep that from going back up the middle.
Yeah, this was a hot shot off of Nesby with the slap. Like that she gets it, looks to the next play. Oof, that was a comebacker.
Now Peyton Plotz is going to re-enter to hit the cleanup spot. Her first time up, she struck out swinging to end the first. 1 out, 2 on. First pitch floats high.
Well, when I talked to Coach Beth Tarina just about Berzon in the circle and just the demeanor, the mentality, she said she's a kid that when she's out there, she's smiling through the bad things. You're not seeing that look of defeat. It's almost as if, like, hey, you realize that there's some action going on the base pass here. Like, you'll tend to see at times pitchers when there's this pressure, this sometimes bulldog mentality look where they change. But with Sydney Berzon, she's someone that kind of keeps that same happy-go-lucky mentality. Can't tell if she's up or down.
One and two. Were you always happy-go-lucky?
No. It's a hard no.
Sometimes it's okay to wear it on your sleeve, I think. Off speed, just outside. 2 and 2.
Ooh, this is a good pitch. Change-up drifts. I like Bergeron behind the plate and just what she's able to do with that pitch.
Ground ball. Going to be a tough play, and everybody's safe. Now, was that runner interference? I don't think so. So everybody's safe. A big break for Kentucky. As Pleasant's charged, and Koffel set a screen, essentially.
Third baseman, number 33, Grace.
Yeah, this got a lot of action. This ball was bouncing. Aaron Koffel was able to try to like get out of the way, not get hit with the ball, but not trying to interfere.
Now back up the middle, and that's going to be a double play to get LSU.
That tied this up.
This is Kelly Lynch at the plate, the designated player for LSU, 0 for 1 with a walk. LSU scoring twice in the third inning. They've had base runners each of the last 2 innings, but unable to get anybody across. The pitch is outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Sydney Langdon started for Kentucky. Stephanie Schoonover, a couple of innings of no-hit relief. She's given up a couple of walks, but otherwise has handled LSU just fine as that one's pulled foul, 1-2.
I still can't believe what just happened like less than maybe 3 minutes ago with the Koffel, Taylor Pleasance. No contact, even though it looked like there was contact. And then the next ball coming at Taylor Pleasance, the sweet little double play that gets Kentucky. I mean, there's a lot of action thrown our way there.
You know, fielding has been a storyline all weekend, and some bad, some good. And for LSU in that situation, those 2 plays back-to-back, it could have gone sideways. As that one swung on and missed by Kelly Lynch. So strikeout for Schoonover to start the 6th inning.
Now batting for LSU, the second baseman, number 23, Sarah Daniel.
Hutchins now playing first base for Kentucky. Sierra Daniels started the game at second base, now playing third for LSU. Grounded out to second in the second inning, and a single in the 4th. She's the number 9 hitter. Handcuffed Hamilton. Second appearance of the weekend for Schoonover. Took the loss in a start on Friday night. Fly ball out of play, 2-2. Warmed up a little bit in Lexington, mid-40s now. It's still very windy. Weather has been brutal this weekend. Back up the middle, that's going to be a tough play. Koffel gloves it and has no throw. So Daniel is aboard with a 1-out infield single. Let's go back to that last half inning. Here are the 2 defensive plays that Danielle was talking about.
Yeah, and I was just wondering if there was any contact with Aaron Koffel or Taylor Pleasance, and no one challenged anything, didn't seem to be, and Taylor Pleasance steps up, gets the next ball to her, and absolute statement piece, like, hey, I'm going to roll the double. It doesn't matter if there was contact or not. And the interesting thing to me about, like, Taylor Pleasance, which kind of at times separates her, is, I mean, she has close to an 80-mile-an-hour overhand throw from the shortstop position, right? So it's like she can take a ball deep in the hole and not have to use her body much just because her arm strength is and always has been so good, which makes me go back to what they've been doing. You know, you think of Lindsay Leftwich, who's gone to NC State, but since they lost her, she took care of a lot of the overhand stuff. And LSU had really kind of went to that high-level throwing with Austin Wasserman, and it's changed the game a little bit with just being able to keep your arm fresh, paying attention to the little things. And not only has it helped their pitchers, but it's helped these other athletes as well. I know they travel the country, and it's been a cool thing to see how it's kind of changed our game and focusing on that, especially in the younger generation of these athletes, right? Like the high-level throwing came out to my daughter's 12U team and ran a camp. So it's teaching them the fundamentals of how to throw the ball properly. So there's no risk of injury.
There's a strike in the outside corner. And yeah, in this weather, all of that is heightened. You got to be so careful.
Yeah.
Briggs had that single back in the third inning. That's the last time LSU was able to score. They put up 2 that inning. Chopped and foul. Lynch struck out to start the inning, and an infield single by Sierra Daniel. And now Briggs, as LSU is trying to keep their unbeaten season alive, 21-0 after the 2 wins to start this series. That's going to be tough. Koffel again has no play. 2 on, 1 out, and Allie Newland is due up.
And this is one of those where you have to tip your cap. It's not even like Lorsung was way in. She was pinched in a little bit from the base, but this was a base hit all day. Great job by Sierra Briggs.
Here's Newland, who's 1 for 3 today. Big cut, fouled it off. And it is playable, but dropped out in left by Nesby. Somehow that was able to stay in. It looked like it was slicing on a play, but Nesby actually got a glove on it. He couldn't make the catch.
It's almost like she kind of overran it. I don't know, my dad used to always say, you touch it, you catch it. Maybe he was a little hard on me with that, but Newland getting a second chance here.
Yeah, Newland hoping to make Kentucky pay. It should have been the second out. The 1-1 from Schoonover. Center before, Newland's had some clutch moments in her career. Trying to put LSU in front again here in the 6th inning. 2 on, 1 out. 3-1. And Taylor Pleasance, who we've been talking about all afternoon, is due up next.
And there's only 1 hit so far in this SEC series. She's not someone that I want to mess with when the game's on the line.
That one's going to be off the top of the dugout. So Rachel Lawson only calls the pitches for Stephanie Schoonover now. Grace Ballman is now calling the pitches for everyone else. It's the first time that Rachel Lawson has given up pitch calling, but she still does it for Schoonover. This one is crushed to right. That's going to get down for a hit. 1 run is going to score. And LSU goes back in front on an RBI double by Allie Newland.
This is a 3-2 pitch in on her hands. She just absolutely turns on this thing. It's a game of inches, finds a way to hit the green. You see she is fired up. Putting good barrel on it.
And now Pleasance with a chance to do more damage for the Bayou Bengals. Pleasance has been on twice today with a couple of walks. Flew out to center back in the 3rd. One of the top home run hitters in LSU history. She could absolutely tear a hole in this game right here, Danielle, with 1 swing of the bat.
mean, just looking at the career ranks, 3rd all-time ribbies, 5th in home runs. Good opportunity, 2-0.
Off speed, floats in there for a strike, 2-1. Briggs at 3rd, Newland at 2nd. 1 run in here for LSU in the 6th. 2-1 pitch. Again, the off speed, and Pleasance maybe a little baffled there by the changeup, and now it's even at 2-2.
Well, now the back-to-back changeups kind of get in your head a little bit as a hitter. Like, is she going to go with the screwball or best pitch? Is she going to go with the change again? And to me, that pitch with the screw, yeah, it's just way too off the plate. But that cat and mouse type game for the pitcher catcher is how can I get into these hitters' heads? Like, how can I, even though these players aren't calling pitches, it's coming from the dugout, you want to still find a way to get in the hitter's head.
Lost her. Now the bases are loaded, and Raylene Gutierrez, the cleanup hitter, coming up for LSU.
Batting for LSU, at first base, number 55, Raylene Gutierrez.
Gutierrez, a walk and a run scored in 3 trips. She's been one of the most consistent hitters for LSU this season. Big opportunity here. And Schoonover starts her away.
When it's just that outer half struggling to get ahead of hitters. When you fall behind, advantage will always go to the hitter, but that screwball is Schoonover's money pitch. So it's trying to figure out the happy median. How can I get this called, but not continue to fall behind these hitters? And when you just take a look at the situational hitting piece for LSU in comparison to Kentucky, and today's been a completely different day for Kentucky. They've been so scrappy.
2-0 pitch. 3-0 and no place to put Gutierrez. Rudedy is scheduled to hit next. Bases loaded, 1 out. 3-0. Walked her, and LSU adds another one. It's 4-2. And Rachel Lawson comes out again. That's going to do it for Schoonover. The left-handed Vickers was warming up. She's coming in next. Kentucky on Friday night, the damage had already been done, but Lackawanna did look good. She'll come on in relief here in a very tough spot, trying to keep this a 4-2 game. Bases loaded, 1 out. Mackenzie Rudedy at the plate. She's 1 for 3 with an RBI single. That came back in the 3rd. The 1-0 from Lackawanna. Strike. Defense has not been a signature for Kentucky this weekend, but boy, could they use a double play ball here to get out of this jam. Outside, 2-1.
Well, an arm side for these Kentucky hitters is they're struggling to be able to locate pitches. Listen, I said it to you at the beginning of the game. Sometimes right-handed pitchers have a tough time throwing to a lefty-heavy lineup. And when you look at the amount of lefties that step in the box for LSU, mentally can be draining for a pitcher to know, maybe I don't feel as comfortable as I need to be throwing a hard pitch in on the hands on a cool, cold day. So I have to be able to execute pitches on the outer half with consistency, and I have to be able to locate it to keep our team in this game. When you fall behind, you get in trouble, and that's what we saw this inning with Schoonover, back-to-back walks.
Newland at 3rd, Pleasance at 2nd, Gutierrez at 1st. 2-2 to Rudedy. Line drive to center. That's going to be a tough play. Diving catch by Sullivan. But another run is going to score for LSU. That was a beautiful play in center field by Sullivan. If that gets underneath her glove and gets to the wall, it likely scores everybody.
Yeah, that's a really good play. I like the backup by Nesby in case this were to get by, but she laid it all out. Obviously, that run scores, but all about outs right now. See Taylor Ebbs coming over.
The call on the field
catch.
was the runner legally left third base on time. This is being challenged by Kentucky.
Ooh,
Kentucky
play,
with a challenge here.
Why not? You have not seen Kentucky use a challenge whatsoever. I want to see if that runner at third left early.
We'll keep an eye on Allie Newland's foot here on this replay. You've got one good look, and you're going to see what the umpires are going to see. Here comes.
Yeah, I think she left on time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. You know, you're in a situation where you might as well use it, and you're down 3 now late in this ballgame. I mean, it, not only is the game getting long in the tooth, the series is getting long in the tooth, and
yeah.
you're in trouble. You're in jeopardy of being swept on your home field. You might as well take all the arrows out of the quiver. I don't think this is going to take very long.
After review, the call on the field has been upheld. The runner left on time.
So LSU gets another run, but Kentucky gets a much-needed out. 2 on, 2 out. And Macy Bajaraw ready to hit next. Boy, what a series it's been for Macy Bajaraw. 1 for 4 Friday, 1 for 3 yesterday with a run batted in. She's got a couple of hits today, and she's got another one. And the bases are loaded again. Macy Bajaraw swinging a hot bat, her 3rd hit today.
This is a drop ball that she's able to go get down and in, takes it, pokes it right into left field. Great piece of hitting. Momentum continuing to be on LSU's side here, passing the bat.
Carly Petty is going to bat. Petty has been dinged up this year. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Petty. She came in at second base earlier, so I misspoke. Not a pinch hitter, but at the plate for the first time. And there's a strike. It's 2-1. Two and two.
Well, Carly Petty on the year, not too shabby. 636 with runners in scoring position.
Petty, a veteran second baseman, you said has been dealing with some minor injuries. Played in the game last night in the field. Swung on. This could be a tough play, and it gets down for a hit. 1 run is in. 2 runs will score. As Carly Petty blows this game wide open, it's now 7-2.
She kind of gets jammed on this pitch. in on her hands. You see Erin Koffel going back, but she clears out of the way. Whether or not she heard Nesby calling, that would have been a heck of a play by Erin Koffel with her route. And I'm not sure if Nesby running in thought maybe Koffel was going to get it, but I think that was going to be a base hit no matter what.
And so Lynch comes up for the second time in the inning, and she delivers a hit to center. And it's 8-2. As LSU has... Sierra Daniel will try to keep it going. 3 hits allowed by Alexia LaContenta, but since coming into the game, it's been a 2-hit day for Daniel. Single in the 4th, a single and a run scored here in the 6th. That average now at 486. The 1-1. That's going to roll foul. Smart by Lorsson to let that play itself out. The 1-2 to Sierra Daniel, as LSU has scored 5 times in the inning. I think that's 6 times in the inning.
I don't think you can say enough about Sierra Daniel in that 9 spot. I mean, triple threat, turns that lineup over, a lot of confidence, dig in a little bit of a split grip.
Struck her out. Got to throw to first, and that'll end the inning. But it
to me is something that I would circle going into a series, knowing this is a team that tends to play a little bit better under pressure. When they want to score runs, but they know there's 2 outs, they step up. And man, this to me is a team that I believe is going to stand a good shot at getting to Oklahoma City. I really believe that. You think about last year with Louisiana having to come to them for regionals, but Louisiana is one of the toughest teams, I think, when it comes to the postseason grind. So you never know what'll happen.
Delaney Sullivan is thrown out. Nope, that's going to be a foul ball. Well, that's what happens. Two strikes. Struck her out. 1 down.
This little pitch on the outer half, a little extra wiggle. I mean, this Verzon just made that look easy. Back-to-back pitches, she gets ahead, foul ball, and then takes her screwball out.
Look at Carissa Hamilton coming unglued and hits it off the scoreboard. A solo shot here with 1 out in the 6th. Maybe going to spring some life back into the Kentucky lineup. Third home run of the season for Hamilton, her 2nd extra base hit of the day.
First pitch, this is a rise ball up in the zone, but it just bleeds over the heart of the plate. I love it. Hamilton just absolutely turns on this pitch. I love when a hitter steps in the box and they swing first pitch. pitchers don't want to fall behind. We saw what happened last inning with the Kentucky pitchers when they fell behind. Some walks, some things happened, and LSU made them pay for it. And pitchers want to get ahead of you. They want to toy with you as a hitter. So when you step in the box knowing that, it's like, hey, they're going to come at me with something sweet early. I want to make them pay.
Foul ball off the bat of Ebbs, who's 2 for 2 with a double and a single. She did not start the game. Lauren Borzilleri started the game at first base, but never hit, as Ebbs pinch hit for her in the second inning. Ground ball. It's going to be an easy play for the first baseman, Gutierrez. They're 2 down.
Second baseman, number 12, Margaret Tobias.
Tobias is going to hit. LSU with 17 straight NCAA tournaments. Hoping to get back to Oklahoma City for the first time since 2017, Danielle. And so it's been a while, but this team certainly has all the looks of a Women's College World Series team. And that's going to do it for Kentucky. That was the case on Friday as that game was delayed. Same thing last night. The game was supposed to start midday. It ended up not starting until early evening. A lot of sunshine today, but it is nippy as we go to the 7th inning, and it's all LSU. 8-3. At least the pretzels are warm. Sierra Briggs to lead it off for LSU. And she had an infield single. She's got 2 hits today. She was part of that 6-run 6th inning last inning.
Yeah, just kind of going off how we were ending that last inning. Like I look at just this LSU team and the vet presence that they have and everything that they've experienced as a team with the heartbreak of losing at home for regionals and everything that they've had to go through with Taylor Pleasance and her injury last year. But with the depth that they have in the circle and the confidence with that piece, I believe that this really is a team that is going to make it to Oklahoma City and put up a good fight. If they can continue this offensive piece that they have, as well as the success in the circle, I mean, we all know it comes down to how you choose to play in Mayhem, right? You want to do well in conference play, but when you get to postseason, it's a different grit that you have to fight through. It's a different type of emotion at times that you as an athlete have to deal with, right? There's a different pressure piece, and you look at the amount of collegiate at-bats that these seniors have and 50ers have. I mean, no wonder Coach Beth Torina says she can just roll in with her coffee at practice and trust that this team's going to get it done what they need to. It's an impressive squad. And it's been really fun to kind of chat with Beth Torina this week and get to know them and the ins and outs, and look forward to seeing kind of what they do the rest of the season.
Briggs is out on the pop-up to short. Yeah, 5 fifth-year players and a 6th-year player. Hannah Carson is 24 years old and in her 6th year for LSU. As Newland takes a strike. Newland had a big RBI double last inning as LSU started to break the game open. They've got a dozen hits today. They've been in double digits in hits all 3 games. Lacatena's 1-1 pitch. It's upstairs, 2-1. Off speed, ground ball. The first baseman. Borzilleri, who's come back in defensively, steps on the bag for the second out.
Now batting for LSU, the shortstop, number 17, Taylor Pleasant.
And we're going to get another chance to see Taylor Pleasance. It's been a good weekend for her, especially in the field. I mean, maybe not the offensive weekend, not vintage Taylor Pleasance at the plate, but certainly in the field we have seen the flashes that we expected to see, especially in that inning where she turned that key double play to get LSU off the field.
Yeah, that was the money play. I think to me, when you run off the field and you see the excitement in Coach Bettarina and the smile from ear to ear, you just know how big of a play that was to kind of stop any momentum for Kentucky. But even though, I mean, not a ton of hits in this series, she just has the one. Today's a day where she's been patient at the dish, right? I mean, she has 3 walks. And to me, when you put yourself in that position to have a good at-bat and you take your base, it puts your team in a position to try to get stuff going. That free pass, to me, is as good as a base hit. It just doesn't show necessarily in the average department, but
the 2-1 off the foot of Pleasance. LSU after this will have a game against Texas on Tuesday. A game that you'll see here on the SEC Network. And then a 3-game series against Ole Miss. All of those games in Baton Rouge. This is going to be a fun team to watch as the wins continue to mount. You know, they're going to have a big target on their back. Inside, called strike. And Taylor Pleasance goes down looking. Last chance for Kentucky. They're down 5 as we go to the bottom of the... On a rain the first couple of days, delaying the start of the Friday and Saturday tilt. No rain here today, but certainly cold temperatures. And Kentucky's bats have been cold at times. Let's see if they can rally for 5 here in the bottom of the 7th as LSU tries to sweep Kentucky on the opening weekend. We've got the part of the order that they want to have up there. Aaron Koffel, the leadoff hitter. Ball and a strike. That's in the dirt. 2-1. No walks today for Aaron Koffel. She has a team high 13 on the year. Led the nation in walks per game last year. This one is sharply smacked into center field. It's going to get all the way to the wall. That's a leadoff double for Aaron Koffel, and here comes Kentucky.
good job by Aaron Koffel. Goes and gets his pitch. By Carly Petty at second. Sierra Briggs tries to track it down. I like that Koffel kept this a double and didn't try to push it to a triple, right? Knowing that you need to really kind of scratch and claw to get back into this. With it being 5 runs, it's important to just play that piece. And I think she could have been safe at third if she tried to push it, but who knows?
I think Christine Himes would have been trying to put on the brakes if she'd have seen that. You know, down 5, you don't want to be risking it at this point, but you're right. She's got the wheels to get there, that's for sure. Here's Allie Hutchins now. Hutchins is 1 for 2 with a walk. Three homers, 13 runs batted in. Hutchins had a game-winning walk-off hit to beat Stanford earlier this year. That was back on opening weekend. Kentucky needs base runners, just trying to get on any way she can. Koffel at second. Swung on and missed. She goes down for the first out.
That was such a dirty AB. And I mean that. Those pitches were so good. Like dropping off the table good, where as a hitter, you think that it's just a money pitch. It's going to be up in the zone, and then you swing and you're like, dang, why is that so down? How did I miss it by that much? That was just point blank. What goes to show why Berzon is as fierce as she is when her stuff is on and it is moving. And she would be in line for the win. And put her at 8-0 on the season.
Second at bat for Vanessa Nesby. Lined out her only other time up on a comebacker that Bergeron snagged and kept from going into center field. That's down and away, 2-1. South Carolina and Texas A&M coming up as soon as we're done from Lexington. The 2-1 pitch. Chopped, and that's going to be foul.
Close.
Not by much.
Yeah, you see Sierra Daniel really pinched in.
Full count to Nesby. Berzon's 3-2. Strike three called, and Nesby knew it. 2 down.
This just drops off the table too. Drop ball on the outside part of the plate. Tough to leave with 2 strikes, especially with the strike zone that you don't know sometimes if it's going to get called a ball or a strike.
This is Plotz to hit, and Kentucky down to its last out. Plotz got the start, her second career start. Ground ball could end the ball game. That's going to be a tough play. The shortstop throws, not in time. Pleasance has a great arm, but not enough on it to get Plotz, so runners at the corners, and the inning continues.
Sierra Daniels does everything she can. Taylor Pleasance has a cannon, but just not enough. Kentucky continuing to keep fighting.
And now we're going to get a pinch runner for Plotz.
Number 22, Cassie Reisner.
Cassie Reisner will take over at first base. And Grace Lorsung is at the plate. Lorsung has home run capability for sure, 5 on the year. If she could cut loose, that would change the complexion of this 7th inning. And again, the wind is blowing out. Ground ball, left side. That could end the ball game, and it does. LSU stays unbeaten, the only unbeaten team in the country, as they go to 22-0.